Hi there. Where the hell have we been? Shut up, you. Well, I don't really know how to start this. And plus, I have literally zero time. Due to the thing that happened in 2020 that we're all very well aware of, I didn't get a whole lot done. So what happened, in very brief summation, was that I wanted to do the show. What happened was very simple. I wanted to do the show full time, and I couldn't record exactly where I was when I was still living with Chief. And then as I put up that weird video, which a lot of people called a I'll see you sometime later, you know what I'm saying, like in the afterlife later type of video, which was meant to be a funny thing, but it wasn't a funny thing. I don't know, it was a little more sad than it was supposed to be. What do you want from me? So I moved in here, which is now colloquially known as the Hell Box. I did get a whole lot done because I moved into a place that's even harder to record for me, because I know that most people can hear me anytime I move around, which is kind of a killer for my creativity and the way I want to do things, as literally all of you know by this point, because I complain about it pretty much on a 24-hour basis. Sometime around 2020, when I had a roommate move in to help me out during the happening phase of 2020, I did not get to return to work because of the stuff that happened in 2020. I just kind of sat at my desk quietly for about 9 months and barely did anything, which I'm kind of sorry for, but at the same time, I really wasn't in a, hey, let's get a lot of stuff done mode. In fact, to be completely clear and honest, I'm kind of surprised the show still exists in the form that it does. I did not want to do it anymore. In the time that I've been away, I think I'm going to call it since about November of last year. Dude, y'all, I gotta let you know, the damn movie videos I put out, the black and white public access,
Public domain.
thank you, public domain. The public domain movies, I sat in my chair the entire month of October, and I'm not, yes, I am a storyteller, yeah, sometimes I exaggerate a little bit, but I typically let you know when I do. This is not an exaggeration. I sat in my chair for about 20 hours a day, every single day, and the 1 hour that I wasn't asleep and not editing, I was standing right here in front of the screen doing the lines. Like, I was out of my fucking mind, just insane burned out. Like, I loved doing those videos, but for some reason that was like the needle in the haystack and the camel that kicked the log forward over, or whatever they say. And then I decided it'd be a good idea to do a best of season 1, where I watched every single episode that we ever did in season 1 and then cut it all up. Spent 18 hours a day watching. It took about probably, I don't even know, like 20 days to get that thing done, and I worked all the time on it. With those 2 months smashed right together, it was kind of a disaster for like staying in the rhythm and staying focused and that kind of thing, and I just didn't really want to do it anymore. And having to watch myself talk for that long was enough to make me never want to do this again. I'm not super good off the cuff, as you probably know by now. I'm a little bit of a zany weirdo, and I thought I'd be walking into YouTube as a zany, loud weirdo and feeling kind of accepted, but it turns out there is like a sea of 65 million people that are exactly like that, so it kind of seems like I'm disingenuous, and that kind of hurts me a little bit. So I just kind of felt like it was over, and that I needed to do something extremely different, otherwise I was never going to do it again. So I sat for about 5 months and thought of about 15 different things to kind of pull myself away from what I was doing before, which you will start to see at the first half of the season. It's not just game stuff. I'm going to be telling real life stories. I'm going to be telling exaggerated, very fantasy type stories that I've mixed from my real life. Of course, I'll be playing some games. This might be the last season that I do games. It really depends on how well it goes. Unfortunately, I kind of time crunched myself a little bit. And not to mention, I actually got to go back to work this year, so that really put a lot of stress on me. And sitting in this 4-month ball of stress has really been a tough time for me, to be just completely honest. I have been working really hard on some new stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of the really cool new stuff I won't be able to get to until I get back, but that'll be in October. I'm not going to be gone that long this year. I had a lot of fun recording the new stuff and writing and getting a new grip on things, you will see the channel change a lot. This is my official Uncle Cap, best uncle in the world voice. I'm being actually serious. The channel's gonna change a lot. The show's gonna change a lot. And if that's not cool, I get it. You grow out of things, people change. I don't want to do and never wanted to do typical 10-minute cut Let's Plays. We all know that. It's going to expand into storytelling, world building. Like, all of my books and fantasy stuff is eventually going to come to this show. Gaming is going to slowly make its way towards the back. And then all the stuff in the front is going to be storytelling. I have a couple different shows, some documentaries, all sorts of stuff. It's finally kind of making its way into fruition. Not to mention, it's right in the middle of me getting in a rhythm again and really feeling the energy and really getting into it. I have to go back to work, but that is a blessing. I'm not upset about it. It's just that I really wanted to work on the stuff that I have, that is stuff I'm really excited about. But you will see all that whenever I get back. Again, I'm not going to be gone very long. I feel the way that this show is going is the way that I always wanted it to be. And whenever I was growing up, a lot of my favorite bands would say the same thing. And it would always break my heart, because you grow up with something and you love it for the way it is, and then the people who are making it get very tired of it or never really liked that way in the first place and just went along with it until they had their chance to either start their own band or start to influence the music a little bit more. So they'd say something like, oh, we are looking for a more mature sound now, or we wanted to experiment with this record. And then I've heard that so many times, and the new records that came out I never really liked because I liked the old stuff. But now that I'm on the other side, I completely get it. I have never gotten something so much in my entire life. People change, the show's going to change, it's going to continue to change until it's a weird disaster piece of Technicolor garbage and a bunch of Arms and Armor stories that are coming from my own brain. All the stuff on the channel, besides the obvious game stuff and everything, is all going to be from me. All original, all written by me, told by me. Which is another reason why I struggled with this show on my own or with Burn, is because it's just a lot of sitting around looking and watching and talking to myself for a long time. And man, I'm decent company, but I can't stand myself for that long. So this is one of those parts where I'm not sure if I should apologize. I think all of the people who wanted to be here are obviously here. I tell you all the time, I very much appreciate you still sticking around and sticking with me. It really means an insane amount, and I fucking hate doing that. The format that we're in, I will not call myself that, but the place we're in, we see a lot of people who do what I do say that. But it is the most ridiculous thing in the world that we have people that are in our Discord and talk to us on a daily basis, which will never cease to blow my mind. Because as Chief and I, when we first started the show, our literal mantra was, nobody is watching this show, and we never thought. So anyway, with that, I just really wanted to say thank you again. Never thought we'd ever be in this position, to be honest. 10K and then go away, I guess. But with that, I expect to, since I am lucky enough to get to go back to work this year, I had to cut a few things short. I still have a lot of different things in mind. There's going to be a lot more variation in the episodes after I get back in probably mid-October. For now, it's going to be, I guess, somewhat the same as you're used to. It'll be, like a game, and then it'll be a short that I wrote, like an OC exaggerated short from the life, explaining, who we are and where we come from. And then there'll be maybe a real story that I actually talk about while I live here. And there's documentaries coming. There's of both kinds, where I get information and talk about that information that's not from me, or I make a documentary about something that I'm doing. I also recorded 100 days of working out called a Century Mark, which you'll see at some point as well. If you're still there, thanks. We'll come back soon. If not, and you just happen to see this in your inbox and you're like, oh yeah, I remember these guys. I used to watch these guys 3 years ago. and you're like, yeah, unsubscribe, I get it. You grow out of stuff. You grow out of me. Sometimes I wish I could grow out of me. But, I'm stuck. But anyways, I'm going to be gone for a couple of months. I will see you again in real time in October. Until then, I will put up about 3 episodes a week until I get back. And sometime from here until mid-August, you'll see a trailer for the season coming up. And then we'll be on our way. Thanks for coming. I'll see you out there. Farewell.